Yeah, well, hello everybody and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. I want to welcome you to the May 12th, 2018 Vinyl Treasure Show. John G running a little bit late. It was really, I was off Friday. I had to get my Cadillac done. I had to I had a wake to go to. I had a confirmation to go to in New Jersey. Had to come back. I had a funeral today. I had to prepare for the show. It was crazy. It was the Garden State was packed. It was just, and then it's Mother's Day tomorrow, which I didn't even get a Mother's Day song for tonight. But anyway, I'm glad to be here. I could relax for the next 2 hours. Got some cool original vinyl 45s out of my collection. We opened up tonight's Vinyl Treasure Show with the B-side from last week on Leonard Allen State's label out of Chicago, Illinois. Tenor saxophonist Cozy Eggleston. Cozy Eggleston with Cozy's Boogie. That's the flip side to the Big Heavy, which was last week's opening instrumental. That one there released February 1954. States Records, Cozy Eggleston and his combo with Cozy's Boogie. Well, enough of my babbling here. Let's start it off here with the vocal portion. We open up on Henry Stone's chart label out of Miami, Florida. Although this group dates back to the late 1940s with releases on Savoy Deluxe, Columbia, Melmar Groove, and other labels. This is the first of two they recorded on the chart label, co-written by the lead singer. Her name is Bonnie Davis. We go to March 1956 for the Piccadilly Pipers. It's on chart. The tune is called Where's My Baby? As North Dakota Bob would say, that is a tail slapper for sure. Those are the Piccadilly Pipers, March 1956. Bonnie Davis on lead there. I don't think she's really known for these really fast up-tempo songs, mostly, kind of like slower tunes, at least on the Melmar 45s. But that's Bonnie Davis. She co-wrote the tune with the Piccadilly Pipers, Where's My Baby, March 1956. It's on the chart record label Your Baby's Right Here, in front of the microphone, spinning original vinyl 45s as we continue here. Up next, I call this one a classic song by this Harlem, New York group. They signed to Bobby Robinson's Robin label. It wasn't even Red Robin yet. It was called Robin, and it features at this time, back in December of 51, 16-year-old Raymond Buddy Wooten on lead, is with the Sherbert Swenston trio. This one from December 51. We're going to send it out to Donald McGee. This is his favorite tune, and we'll send it out to Andrew Turner too. It's a great tune here by the Mellow Moods. It's on Robin Records. Their tune is called Where Are You?
Where are you now that I need you? Now that I want you so badly, I could cry. I could cry. Where are you now that I want you? Now that I need you so badly, I could cry. I had you at my beck and call. Anytime at all. I guess I took too much for granted and sigh away and cry. Where are you now that I need you? Now that I want you so badly, I could cry. I had you and my beck and call. I call you anytime at all. I guess I took too much for granted to let you sigh and cry. Please tell me, where are you now that I need you? Now that I want you so badly, I could cry.
That's a great tune. I like that tune. Always did like that song by the Mellow Moods. December 1951. And Where Are You, parentheses, Now That I Need You. It's on Bobby Robinson's Robin record label. And 16-year-old Ray Buddy Wooten on lead there for that. They had another release on the Robin label, or was it Red Robin 104? I think I need that one. I don't know if that's on a 45, might only be on a 78. I got to go back and check. I think that other release is only on a 78, but I have their other two records that came out on the Prestige label back in 1953. Those I do have, and we'll feature them on future Vinyl Treasure shows, but was lucky to win that 45. Plays pretty good. It's got a little bit of a warp in it, but I think I paid like just under $500 for that 45 a number of years ago on maybe around 2000 or so on eBay. I was lucky to win that 45, but I don't know, it's hard to find that record mint if you do find it, but a great record, I have to say. John G here for Saturday evening as we count down the music chronologically here. Let's move into 1952. This great group out of Detroit, Michigan. They would eventually evolve into the Midnighters, but prior to that, they were known as the Royals. Here's their fourth release on Sid Nathan's Federal record label. It's on the Gold Top Federal. This one from September 52. It features Hank Ballard on lead, and these are the Royals with I'll Never Let Her Go.
Oh, you know I want to see my baby. Yes, I want her every day. Yes, I want to see my baby, so I can take her everywhere. Now, when she smiles and says she cares, I must admit I was unfair. When I get her in my arms, so I'll never let her go. Yes, never, never let her go. No, never, 'cause I love her so. For every time she smiles at me, I'm happy as a man can be. Yes, no more tears shall I shed. Now the time my heart has bled. Every day I love her so, I'll never, never let her go. Yes, never, never let her go. No, never, I love her so. For every time she smiles at me, I'm happy as a man can be. No, no more tears shall I shed. Count the time my heart has bled. Every day I love her so, I'll never, never let her go. Smiles at me, I'm happy as a man can be. Yes, no more tears shall I shed. Count the time my heart has bled. 'Cause every time I love her so, I'll never, never let her go.
Yeah, those are the Royals. The Royals, Hank Ballard on lead. September 1952, Sid Nathan's Federal record label, I'll Never Let Her Go, is the name of the tune. Of course, he became the lead of the group. They did all those Annie songs, are pretty cool songs they do, and a nice, cool, good R&B tune there. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on all these tunes here. Let's continue here. We move into 1953 for this group out of Los Angeles, California. I posted this one up on my Facebook wall. It's their lone release on Art Roop's specialty label. Now, the lead for this group, his name is Gene Moore. His real name is Kenneth Elshaw, and he gets writing credit on this 45. Now, Ferdy Gonzalez's Disco Files says that the originals of this should read Gene Moore and the Metronomes. I'm going to have to ask those advanced collectors out there if they own this 45 or 78, if they know it, if it says Gene Moore and the Metronomes, because I don't know. I've never seen that one. Really, never really have seen an original 45 till this one went up on Facebook. I think back in 2000, not Facebook, but eBay back in 2009, and it looked original. And I asked the seller. I said, where'd you get this record? He said it was in a whole bunch of other records. I believed him. He had other records listed from the same time period. It's kind of a thick press here. You can't bend it. And I had to pay a little bit more for this record, but not over four figures. This one was not over four figures. It has a little bit of a scratch in it. But anyway, I think it's well worth it, because I think it was Don Folletti that said this is the rarest record on Specialty. I don't know. Maybe it is. But anyway, let's go to August 1953. These are the Metronomes on Specialty with their tune called That's Bad.
You don't love me the way you used to do, and that's bad, pretty baby, and that ain't good. That's bad. 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 If you don't love me, baby, I'll have to let you go. You don't treat me gentle. Do you think my heart made of wood? And that's bad, pretty baby, and that ain't good. That's bad. 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 If you don't love me, baby, I'll have to let you go. I love you so. That's plain to see. But if you don't treat me right, baby, I'll have to let you be. And that's bad, pretty baby, and that ain't good. That ain't good.
August 1953 there for the Metronomes. Metronomes on Specialty Records. That's Bad is the name of the tune, and there was a couple nicks in there that sounded bad, unfortunately. I was like, well, they're going to play through. It did. But it's a rare record there on the Specialty label. Now, this group in 1954 had one more release as Gene Moore and the Chimes on Jake Porter's combo label. I have that 45. I'll get that one on a future Vinyl Treasure Show. John G here for a Saturday evening. It's 1950s and early 60s. Let's continue here and let's stay in Los Angeles for this next group, as this single came out on 3 different labels. Initially, it came out on Jack Lauderdale's Swing Time label, then on the Lucky label after John Dolphin purchased it from Swing Time Records, and finally came out on the Decca label after John Dolphin sold this group's recordings with 4 other masters to Decca Records, and they released it. But would you believe that Johnny G owns all 3? Well, I do. You got to believe Johnny G. I do. But let's give a listen to the true original on Swingtime Records. We go back to December 1953. These are the Hollywood Flames. Gaynell Hodge, he's on lead. The name of the tune is called I Know.
I'll never ever let you go, because I know I love you so. That's why I'll never let you go. You're mine, oh darling, can't you plainly see that you belong to me? That's why I'll never let you go. My heart was crying, where are you? But I could do nothing but pray, until that day I found you. I locked you in my heart and threw the key away. I know I'll never ever let you go, because I know I love you so. That's why I'll never let you go. While my heart was crying, where are you? Darling, and I could do nothing but pray, until that day I found you. I'll lock you in my arms and threw the key away. I know I'll never ever let you go, because I know I love you so. That's why I'll never let you go. Never let her go.
Sound of California here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Hollywood Flames, December 1953 release. It's on the Swingtime record label. I Know is the name of the tune. Features Gaynell Hodge on lead. We'll send that one out to Lee Michael Dempsey and Bopper Boy Warren, currently in the Top Shelf Oldies Show. I got to congratulate my nephew Bennett Galindo. We had his confirmation yesterday over in Westfield, New Jersey, and it's like amazing. They had 63 kids being confirmed, and that ceremony was a long ceremony. Then we went out to dinner in Westfield, a nice seafood restaurant. I had calamari with linguine with red sauce. That was pretty good. I really liked it. I did. And had some pretty cool stuff. We had cake and whatnot, but got home late, like 1:45 in the morning. It was really, and then we had a wake earlier in the day, so really going from both ends of the spectrum. But a bittersweet day, I guess, yesterday. But I hope you're digging on the cool tunes tonight as we continue here. A number of months back, I featured a group called the Teardrops on Jerry Blaine's Josie label. I played both sides of their first single on Josie. I think it was The Stars Are Out Tonight, back with Oh Stop It. And I think another couple weeks later, I played the B-side of their follow-up, which was called Ooh Baby. But let's give a listen to the intended A-side, as I had this ready to play for a number of weeks, and it's hard to believe that this is an all-white vocal group, because they definitely do not sound it. I guess we couldn't call it blue-eyed soul, we'll call it blue-eyed R&B, I guess. But anyways, from December 54, it's on the Josie label. These are the Teardrops, and their song is called My Heart.
My heart is longing. My heart is longing for you. My heart is longing for you. Please, baby, won't you be true? My heart is longing for you. Longing for you. My heart is so empty. I need your love, baby, and plenty. My heart is longing for you. Longing for you. Love is longing. So darling, why can't you? My heart is longing for you. Please, baby, won't you be true? My heart is longing for you. My heart is longing for you.
December 1954, they're on Jerry Blaine's Josie label. Those are the Teardrops. Teardrops from 1954 with their tune called My Heart. And they're an all-white vocal group. Yes, they are, but they're on an R&B label. John G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue. Let's stay in 1954 for this group out of Indianapolis, Indiana. They sound a lot like another group out of Indianapolis, Indiana, that even recorded for the same label. If you're familiar with a group called The Counts that recorded for Dot Records, well, I guess it's just a coincidence that this group is called the Five Dots for the Dot label, but they would, believe it or not, change their name to the Counts on the Note label later on. But anyway, before that, they were called the Five Dots. This one from June of 1954, if I haven't confused you all, but this is a cool tune. Bought this one for 25 cents. I really lucked out because this record goes for about maybe $400 or $500 now. But let's give a listen to the Five Dots from June of 54 on Dot. It's called The Other Night.
The other night
Darling Dear, bop. Sounds like Darling Dear a little bit to your host, Johnny G. But those are the 5 Dots, June 1954, on Randy Wood's Dot record label out of Gallatin, Tennessee. I think they were located at that time. The Other Night is the name of the tune. Johnny G here, spinning records in the night here from 10 to midnight as we continue. And let's continue. Let's go to Philadelphia, PA. I purchased this 45 from Louis Silvani's Times Square Records, probably when he had the store in Dobbs Ferry, New York. And it's on Herb Slotkin's Grand label out of Philadelphia, PA. And it features Kent Peeler on lead. I always thought this was a gal on lead, but it is not. It's a male singer here with a high voice, a high falsetto voice. September 1955, these are the Dreamers on Grand with their tune called Tears in My Eyes. Grainy 45s for a Saturday evening. That's on the Grand label, Irv Slotkin's Grand Records, September 1955 release. Those are the Dreamers with Tears in My Eyes. This group would have another 45 on the Roland label. Was it Melba? You got to be careful of that record because the boots look real. And I think there's an easy way to tell. I think might be the thickness of the vinyl. I have to check because I do have a real one. Yes, I do. Jai G has a lot of real ones. Don't play fakes here on the program. Only original 45s, no MP3s, no CDs. Scratchy vinyl sometimes. I try to get everything mint, but you know it's very difficult in the year 2018. But anyway, let's continue. I was lucky to find this one in very nice condition. I was puzzled, though, with this next 45. I recently won this in an auction. This group from the Bronx, New York, you all know. They're called the Wrens. I posted this one up on my Facebook wall. Now, one night when I wasn't feeling well, I really wasn't I didn't want to do anything, but I said, let me go up and see if there's any records that I might need. So I signed into eBay, I checked things that were ending, and I was lucky to see that this record was ending like in a couple hours. And sometimes I tell Charlene, I say, Charlene, I got to get this record. I'm going to try to zap it at the end, because that's really the best way to win the 45s, by the way. I want to give you my trading secrets. But anyway, I won this record. It was Rama 105. And, I checked the Kreider guide, and it's got Rama 105, which is 11 Roses backed with Come Back My Love. Now, I do have that on Rama 65, but not 105. But this one is not Come Back My Love. It's backed with Love Something That's Made for Two. So it's kind of weird. And Ferdy Gonzalez doesn't have it in the disco file. And this was with a bunch of other records that this guy had for sale. He was out of Kent, Ohio, was the seller. So I ended up winning it, and he said it was like in excellent shape. I mean, it's really in mint shape. Although I think the problem with this record was that the sound quality on 11 Roses is not as full as the other records by the Wrens, and maybe that bugged George Goldner, because with the Wrens he had different flip sides. He kind of changed them, and who knows why he did that, but I think it's because of the sound. That's my thinking. But anyway, it's still a great record. We go to February 55 was the original release, so I don't know when this oddball release came out, but let's give a listen to the Wrens on Rama. We're going to play it here. The great Bobby Mansfield on lead, and Goldner called this a medium jump. I guess that's what it would be. So let's give it a spin. The Wrens on Rama. This is that odd Rama 105. It's called 11 Roses, and the 12th is you.
You're a rose, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-wah. You're a rose, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-wah. 11 roses and the 12th is you. 11 roses and a dream come true. 11 roses say we'll never part. 11 roses to my sweet, sweetheart. 11 roses to my Valentine. 11 roses, 'cause the 12th is mine. 11 roses and heaven in view. 11 roses and the 12th is you. You're a rose, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-wah. You're a rose, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-wah. To my sweet, sweetheart. 11 roses and the world's okay. 11 roses in my heart's bouquet. 11 roses and heaven for two. 11 roses, 11 roses, 11 roses and the 12th is you. 11 roses and the 12th is you.
Let's send that one out to all the mothers out there for Mother's Day, an advanced Mother's Day song we'll send out to the women out there. Those are the Wrens, February 1955, Bobby Mansfield on lead. That's Rama 105. Oddball Press. You should hear the flip side of this. It's like really crystal clear, but a lot more fuller sound. That was kind of like, even though it's a nice copy, kind of a muffled sound, I'd say. But anyway, really odd thing there by Rama 105. Johnny G here spinning 1950s 45s. Had a bunch of flip sides from last week's Vinyl Treasure Show, and you know Johnny G, some flip sides are just too good to pass up, like this one on Joe Davis's JD record label, the The group is from the Morrisania section of the Bronx. I played the A-side of their fourth and final release on Joe Davis's JD record label. If you recall, it was called Lovable Lily, featuring Lillian Leach on lead, and she's also doing lead on the B-side. We go to August of 55. These are the Mellows on JD, and their cool tune, it's called Yesterday's Memories.
Yesterday's memories, I keep thinking of yesterday's memories. I hope you'll come back to me and say, darling, I was wrong. Start it over again. First you lie, then you cry. It feels so yesterday. Oh my darling, how I love you. You leave me standing in a trance. Oh, now you are gone, leaving me with yesterday's memories. I wish I could say to you, my dear, take back your yesterday's memories. Oh, now you are gone, leaving me with yesterday's memories. I wish I could say to you, my dear, take back your yesterday's memories. Yesterday's
Yes, Warren, have to agree. Lillian Leach was a wonderful singer there. The Mellows there, Lillian Leach on lead. That's the B-side. Great two-sided 45 for sure. August 1955, Yesterday's Memories on Joe Davis's JD record label. John G tries to bring back your memories every Saturday from 10 to midnight. That one there brings back memories from listening to a lot of the oldie shows on maybe the Time Capsule Show or WHBI, Ronnie I, George Duop Tompkins. They would play records like that. I would write it down on my want list. Of course, when I was in high school working for office help temporaries, I was a pretty cool typist. I have to say that I took typing in high school. I figured, when I went to college, I was going to have to use typing for all the term papers and whatnot. Imagine IBM Selectric. I was able to do 72 words a minute, which was pretty good. And I took the test in White Plains, New York. They said, yeah, you can work. So they sent me to Reader's Digest. Where were they located in? I don't know if it was somewhere off of the Sawmill, and I worked there for a whole summer, and I had to type ads for the blind, and I had to type on really thick carbon copies, and you couldn't make mistakes because you couldn't erase. So you had to be really good typist, but you were only making was it I don't know what it was, $7 and maybe not even $7 an hour. Anyway, Johnny G, yesterday's memories, some of them I want to forget like that one, but let's continue here. When the Sparrows that recorded on the JD label broke up in mid-1955, the bass of the group, his name was Rocky Washington. He left to join the Wrens on Rama. But by 1956, the Wrens were history. Then Rocky joined his fellow Sparrow tenor Freddie Johnson and a few other guys to form a group called the Performers. And the result was this release on Leo Rogers and Sid Archie's All-Star label. It features Freddie Johnson on lead. He also wrote the tune. We go to September 1956 for the Performers on All-Star and their tune called I'll Make You Understand.
You know I love you, yes I do. I truly hope you love me too. Come with me, darling, I'll make you understand. We're so together, our love is made. Please have no fear, follow your hand. You'll be so happy now that you understand. I'm never gonna leave you. I'm never gonna let you get away from me. You are my heart's desire. I'll never let you go. We're so together, our love is made. Please have no fear, follow your hand. You'll be so happy now that you understand. I'm never gonna leave you. I'm never gonna let you get away from me. You are my heart's desire. I'll never let you go. It's so together, our love is made. Please have no fear, dear. Follow your hand. You'll be so happy now that you understand. Now that you understand. Now that you understand. Now that you understand.
September 1956, release there for the Performers. Those are the Performers on the All-Star record label. I'll Make You Understand is the name of the tune. And Freddie Johnson, he's the lead singer. The song was re-released later in 56 of that year on the Tip Top label. I found that one at the 303 Drive-In, the Tip Top, only in VG. I don't know where I got this. Nice copy. And I also have a nice mint 78. And I got a bunch of store stock 78s. Louis Silvani's assistant back then, Glenn Fossil, he was a big Beatles collector, and I think I mentioned this story to you. He wanted I found the Beatles versus the Four Seasons album without the poster at a local church sale for 5 cents, along with Tony Sheridan, the Beatles, and a bunch of other 60s albums, and he wanted those 2 Beatle albums, and I said, well, what do you got to trade? And he had a whole bunch of 78s, cool 50s 78s, all store stock. And some of them were used, but I think there were about 500 of them or so. And I said, look, I'll give you these 2 albums. I think he took Stevie Wonder, Boy Genius was another album, and a couple Turtles albums I had. And I think a little bit of cash, maybe a couple $100. And I had all these cool mint 78s. And they're sitting down in the box in the no humidity base. But anyway, John G babbling on here. Let's continue. Here's another flip side from last week's Vinyl Treasure Show. Featured a rare 45 on George George Goldner's G label by a group called the Eminons. I played the A-side. It was called Hindu Baby. Let's give a spin to the B-side before it goes back down in the No Humidity Basement. Features Robert Coleman on lead. We go to March of 56, the Eminons on G. The name of the tune is called Change of Time.
The change of time. The change of time has done so much to me. It shattered my heart and set you free. I know I still linger on inside of your heart, though the change of time, dear, made us part. My dear, my sweet, my only one, someone like you, my life, my soul, my happiness. What will I do? Someone like me. Someone like me. Filled with misery. Filled with misery. A love like mine, ruined by the change of time. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
As George Goldner's G record label, not a common G. If you collect that label like Johnny G does, those are the Eminons, March 1956. Change of Time is the name of that one. Now, those Eminons, if you is no names spelled backwards, which is very interesting how that group came up with their name. But they would have one more release on the Josie record label, have featured it here, their rendition of Blue Moon on Josie Records. Johnny G spinning original vinyl 45s. We are in the year 1956. Let's head out to the West Coast now. Now, this singer, he was born in California, but he was raised in Oklahoma. But he returned back to Los Angeles when he was 14 years old while attending Jefferson High School. He formed his group called The Thrills, but they rehearsed for Frank Armstrong's Jab Records, and when it came time to record, his group never showed up. A couple of the members, they just didn't show, so he had to come up with some other guys. He recruited other guys to back him up, and they were Carl White and Sonny Harris of the Sharps, probably along with other members of the Sharps, backed him up, and he had pianist Bubby Cypers and his band. They were the backup band. The result was this release on the Jab label. We go to June of 1956 for George Zimmerman and the Thrills, and their cool tune, it's called Whose Baby Are You?
I've been trying all my life to find someone like you. I've been
That's Jab Records out of Los Angeles, California. Those are George Zimmerman and the Thrills, June 1956 release, Whose Baby Are You? I love the sax break in that song. I really do. I got a mid-copy of that floating around somewhere in the No Humidity basement. John G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes. Here we are in the year now. We moved to 1957, and earlier we heard a group called the Metronomes. We got another group, a totally different group called the Metronomes, and it's actually a flip side from last week. On Archie Blier's Cadence label, I featured the Metronomes, the B-side of their second release on Cadence. It was called I'm Gonna Get Me a Girl Somehow. That featured Sonny Wright on lead, and he wrote that tune, and he wrote the flip side too. This is the intended A-side of the 45. We go to March of 1957 for the Metronomes, this group on the Cadence label, and Sonny Wright, he's the lead singer. The name of the tune is called I Love My Girl.
I love my girl. I love my girl. She is a pearl. She is a pearl. My friend says this is better, but still he's out to get her, 'cause he loves my girl. My girl is fine. My girl is fine. She's mine, all mine. She's mine, all mine. So, buddy, please believe me. Don't ever make her try to leave me, 'cause I love my girl. You guys to know I love my girl. She's the best in the world. I've learned this about her, that I can never live without her, because I love my girl. My girl.
Wow, that record sounds great. Haven't heard that record in a long, long time. Remember that I used to hear it on all the oldie stations would play it, and I wrote it down, and I was able to find a nice copy of that. But that's a great record. I haven't heard it in such a long time. Those are the Metronomes. The Metronomes there from March 1957. That's the intended A-side. It's on Archie Blier's Cadence label with all those cordettes and Andy Williams, and who's the guy that sang Davy Crockett? I think he was a soap opera actor. He had the song Davy Crockett. What was his name? And Archie, not Julius LaRosa. I forget his name. He was some pop singer. But that's in between all those Cadence 40. Oh, and the Everly Brothers too. But that's a great tune. The Metronomes there. Sonny Wright on lead. He was a lead of the Diamonds that recorded on the Atlantic label. Also recorded as the Regals. But that's a great tune. John G here for a Saturday evening as we just heard the Metronomes. How about the Metrotones now with a T? And they're out of Cleveland, Ohio. And are you familiar with a song from 1966 on the Music Core label. It's called With This Ring. You know that song? Or the other song they do, which is called Love You 1,000 Times. Do you know those songs by I guess the Platters on Music Core? Well, the lead singer of that group, you know who that is? That is Charles Sonny Turner, and I think he is keeping the sound of the Platters alive, because he really took the place of the Tony Williams when he left the group in the fall of 1959, and he did a lot of the leads on a lot of the later stuff that came out on Mercury by the Platters. But before all that, he was the lead singer for this group, the Metrotones. So let's go back to March of 1957 for the Metrotones on the Reserve label. This is a young Sonny Turner, a young Charles Sonny Turner on lead, doing lead with the Metrotones. The name of the tune is called Please Come Back.
Oh, please come back. Won't you please come back to me? Always treat me tenderly. Won't you come back, my sweet? Oh, please come back. Won't you please come back to me? Always treat me tenderly. Won't you come back, my sweet? Oh, darling, why must we quarrel? 'Cause I want you for the rest of my life. Oh, darling, we shouldn't quarrel, 'cause I want you for the rest of my life. Oh, please come back. Won't you please come back to me? Always treat me tenderly. Won't you come back, my sweet? Oh, no.
As March 1957, the Metrotones on Reserve, and their tune called Please Come Back. I wonder if I usually get emails from these like these oldie concerts, the agents for these oldies concerts, that they're asking what they want to hear. I wonder if I should say, will Sonny Turner sing this song? And I'll pay more money to go hear him sing this record if he would, but I bet you $100 he would not. And that's unfortunate, because that would be wild if he sang that record in concert. People would be going, what is he singing? He needs a group behind him, that for sure. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue. Here we are in 1957. Here's a rare 45 from this group out of New York City. They recorded 2 on B. Caslin's Hull label, and this is their first and their best. Both sides good on this 45. The song was recorded in January 57. It didn't come out until June. and it features the bass of the group. His name is Will Vasson. He's on lead. This one from June 57. Give a listen to the Sparks on Hull and their tune called Run, Run, Run.
Why don't you run? Hear what I say. Why don't you run? Don't be that way. Why don't you run? Oh, baby, please. Somebody's calling you at your front door. Why don't you run? Come hear my plea. Why don't you run? Slip me the key. Why don't you run? If you love me, somebody's calling you at your front door. Why don't you run? Don't be that way. Why don't you run? Come hear my plea. Somebody's calling you at your front door. Why don't you open up the door and let me in? You're my loving baby and I want to win. Heart all beating like a tick of a clock. Louise, can't you hear me when I knock, knock, knock? Why don't you run? Hear what I say. Why don't you run? Don't be that way. Why don't you run? Come hear my plea. Somebody's calling you at your front door. Come hear my plea. Why don't you run? Slip me the key. Why don't you run? If you love me, somebody's calling you at your front door. Why don't you run? Come hear my plea. Why don't you run? Slip me the key. Why don't you run? If you love me.
Yeah, those are the Sparks. Well, let me see. There was not only the bass, it was a couple. The other lead, I forget his name is Joel. I forget his name. Charlene, what was his name? Anyway, that's the Sparks there. June 1957, the first of two on the Hull label, Run, Run, Run. Now, their other song is a much cheaper than that 45. It's like kind of like a Jamaican type sound on a green hull. I remember I was up in, was it Waterbury, Connecticut, at that record show up in Connecticut, and meeting all those those Connecticut collectors, and somebody came in there with a whole bunch of 45s, and I saw that in there, and ended up I think I paid $8 for the other one. But this one is more expensive. Yes, it is. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue here. Let's flip over another ultra rare 45 from last week as we go to George Goldner's Gone label. I featured the Deltas with their cool tune Lamplight, and the flip is an excellent ballad, and I was really thrilled to get this 45 when Spence Wooten, he offered it to me, and it's let's give a listen to the ballad side from 1957. These are the Deltas on Gone, and the tune is called Let Me Share Your Dream.
Don't ever say that we are through.
That's a great two-sided 45. Even if you can get the multicolor reissue that goes between $50 to $100 now, I guess. But that is on the original Black Gone label, the Deltas, 1957. Let Me Share Your Dream, flip side of Lamplight. John G here for a Saturday evening. 1950s and early 60s sounds coming out of my collection. We are in the year 1957. Let's head back out to the West Coast. We go to Pittsburgh, California, this time for this group, and it's on Don Barksdale's Rhythm label out of San Francisco, California. It's the second of three that features 15-year-old Alice Jean Wilton on lead, and her backup group, they're known as the Mondellos. This is the intended A-side of their third 45. We go to June of 57, the Mondellos featuring Alice Jean on lead. It's on Rhythm Records. The name of the tune is called Daylight Saving Time.
Daylight saving is the time in your love about. Daylight saving is the time in your love about. Because you have so many hours to grab your love and hide. I'm so young, but I won't be young away. Well, I'm so young, but I won't be young away. Just let me live until they see that baby hours drive me to my grave. Now there are 24 hours a day, 168 hours a week. I got to have more hours because my love is just not cheap. 24 hours to love you every day. Yes, and I told the president, baby, leave the time a little too much. Maybe they don't know the thing that people talk maybe they don't really know. See that baby stop. Somebody's got to go. Somebody's gotta go. Somebody's gotta go. Yeah, if the day that baby stop, somebody's got to go.
June 1957 there. Alice Jean and the Mondellos there. It says 15-year-old Alice Jean, not really known for her up-tempo sides, more of the ballads. She does wonderful ballads, but that's a pretty cool up-tempo there. I'd have to say it's on Don Barksdale's Rhythm Records. Daylight Savings Time is the name of the tune. Now, this Mondellos group, they would back up other artists on the label. Yul McClay, Little Willie Littlefield, Bob Jeffries, Rudy Lambert, I think one other person that they backed up. Very diversified group there out in California. John G here, continuing here with the 1950s. We move into 1958 now. I just love this B-side here, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with the A-side by this group. They're out of Queens, New York, and the song that was, I guess, their signature song, you know the song, I'm sure. It's called Trickle Trickle, but the B-side is a killer ballad. It features Ronald Cuffey on lead. We go to the Casino label. This one from July of 58. I'm featuring it on a cool West Coast looking Monarch press. Looks a lot different than the East Coast press, which is why when I saw this, somebody had it for sale, pretty cheap too. I said, I'm going to buy this. It looks pretty cool. But anyway, it's a great tune. I think that July 58, I'm talking about the videos. It's on Casino. The song is called Moon Glow, You Know.
Moon glow, moon glow, moon glow, moon glow. Where is she tonight? You know, I love her so. Didn't treat her right. I know.
Isn't that a great record? Gonna send that one out to a Lady Linda, currently in the Top Shelf Holy Shower. She likes that tune. So do I. That's a great B-side there, the videos. And Ronald Cuffey, he's on lead there, July 1958. The flip side to Trickle Trickle. It's on the Casino label, a tune called Moon Glow, You Know. I had that pulled for that. Remember I did that moon theme show with the blood moon and all that, and I had that to play. But anyway, that's a great tune. John G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on these cool tunes here. As I gotta put the CD on for those people that are not into social media. There you go. And let's continue here. We go to a Philly label up next. It's called Crosley Records, but the group is speculated to be out of New York City. Some think this song was recorded by Al Brown and sold to the Crosley label over in Philadelphia, PA. Both sides are pretty good, I have to say. Now, for you collectors out there, the true first press is the logo Crosley needs to be in block print. And I do have that block print. The second presses, though, show with kind of like an arc print at the top of the letters of Crosley. They're kind of like in an arc shape, and it's really thick press, a thick Philadelphia press, stampers in the dead wax, that's for sure. And I think there's even a thinner press. It's like a third press. I don't know. But anyway, it's a great two-sided record. Let's give it a spin here. July 1958. They're called the Spidells. It's on Crosley, and this side's called one word, two letters, No.
It's hard to deny you anything because I love you so. But this is one time, darling, that I must tell you no.
July 1958 release there for the Spidells. Spidells on Crosley. That's a cool tune. Song entitled No. John G here spinning original vinyl 45s. Don't say no that they're not, because they are, with all the crackles and pops and some mint records for sure, but I hope you're digging on the cool tunes here. Got another flip side I played last week. I featured the Velours on the Cub label, the first of two on Cub. I played Crazy Love, a 45 my aunt purchased in the summer of 1958. That side featured Jerome Ramos on lead. The flip side's a nice ballad. It features Troy Keys on lead. It's with Sammy Lowe and the orchestra. We go back to July of 58 for the Velours on Cub and their tune called I'll Never Smile Again.
I'll never smile again until I smile at you. I'll never laugh again. What good would it do? For tears fill my eyes, my heart realize that all romance was through. I'll never love again. I'm so in love with you. I'll never thrill again to somebody new. I'll never start to smile again until I smile at you. I'll never smile again. Do I
That's the unmistakable bass there, Charles Moffett, but not Jerome Ramos on lead. Troy Keys, they had a new member join the group there. I'll Never Smile Again, July 58, the flip side of Crazy Love. Those the Velours on Club. Now, Troy Keys would go on to become the lead singer for a group called the High Keys on the Atco label. They have a couple cool tunes, One Horse Town, Case Sarah Sarah, and they have 3 records on the Atco label. Johnny G draws a blank as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We are in the year 1958. Here's another flip side from last week, as my vocal opener was by this quartet. They were called the Mighty Jupiters, featured the A side of their only release, a song entitled Hiwaki Tumba. Let's flip it. Give a listen to the B side, is also up-tempo, features a female lead. Her name is Dolores Butler. This one came out in February of 58. We go to Warner Records for the Mighty Jupiters and their tune called Your Love. The Mighty Jupiters. Barbara might like that record. She's into the solar system and all that jazz. She definitely likes the stars and the planets. I might get her to like that record. Mighty Jupiters, February 58, Your Love, with Dolores Butler. She's on lead. That's on the Warner label. As we continue here, and got one more from the year 1958, and this group out of New York City recorded for Chris Ford's Mint label, and they also backed up a couple of artists on another label that that Chris Ford owned, Tuxedo Records. I think Ann Nichols was one gal, and also James Carter. But here's their third on the Mint label, and my favorite, I think I like this one the best of all their ballads. It features Sylvester Jackson on lead as 1958. Give a listen to the Sentimentals on Mint and their tune called I'm Your Fool Always. 1958 there for the Sentimentals. And that unmistakable sound of that lead, his name is Sylvester Jackson. He's on lead. I'm Your Fool Always is the name of the tune. It's on the Mint label. And this 45, probably the hardest to find by the group, or the one that goes for the most money, as their most popular one, though, is actually pretty good. Two-sided record. Wedding Bells was the B-side. Sunday Kinda Love, their rendition of that, is really a cool tune, too, that they do. John G here spinning original vinyl 45s. Let's move into 1959 with this great group out of Gary, Indiana. And this is a side I haven't heard in a long, long time. It doesn't feature, though, the great Pookie Hudson on lead, but it features the great bass of the group. And his name is Gerald Gregory. He does a great rendition on this Rodgers and Hammerstein classic song, a standard here. And we go to December of 59, Vivian Carter's VJ Records. Give a listen to the Spaniels. And Gerald Gregory's on lead, and his rendition of the tune, People Will Say We're in Love.
Why don't you hear what I said? And you know I don't play. Now, baby, don't you throw those bouquets at me. And you better not try to please my folks too much. And you mustn't laugh at my jokes too much, because people will say we're in love. Didn't you hear what I told you? Don't sigh and gaze at me. Don't you know that your sighs are so like mine? You better watch your eyes, mustn't blow like mine, because people will say that we're in love. Now, baby, now don't you start around collecting things, or I'm gonna get my robe and my glove. Well, sweetheart, they're suspecting things. Don't you know what people will say? Done told you what people will say. I know what people will say. We're in love. Baby, now don't you start around collecting things, or I'm gonna get my robe and my glove. Whoa, sweetheart, they're suspecting things. Don't you know what people will say? Done told you what people will say. I told you that people will say we're in love.
December 1959 release there for the Spaniels. Spaniels on Vivian Carter's VJ record label, their rendition of the tune People Will Say We're in Love. And that, of course, the great bass of the group, Gerald Gregory, on lead there. John G here spinning 1950s 45s. We are in 59 now. And when I first heard this lead on this group here, I thought it was Jesse Belvin on lead, because I think he's trying to sound like Jesse Belvin a little bit. But when Charlene, she copied in some of the notes there, then I listened again. I said, oh no, it's not. But it is a great group. His name is Carlton Beck. He was a lead singer of the Uptones on Lute, the Hollywood Saxons, recorded on a number of different labels, the Guides/Swallows on Guiden, and this group known as the Senders. And of course, this one was written and produced by, I guess we can call it the West Coast George Goldner mogul, or I guess the West Coast George Goldner. That, of course, was George Mottola. And I like this song. I wish it was in better condition, so I really have to upgrade this, I think, because I really like this song. From January of 59, these are the Senders on the Kent label. Carlton Beck's on lead. The name of the tune is called I Dream of You. Scratchy 45s here for Saturday evening. I have to get a better copy of that. When one turns up, I'm going to zap it for sure. But those are the Senders, January 1959. It's on the Kent label. Carlton Beck, he's the lead singer. I think he's trying to sound like Jesse Belvin. I typed in the chat room there. If you listened, it sounded a little bit like Good Night, Sweetheart, Good Night, My Love. It was like kind of a little bit of the theme there. You heard it, but that's a cool tune. I like that one there. Written and produced by George Mottola. I Dream of You is the name of the tune. But I really do like all the Carlton Beck records. I just like that voice. I don't know what it is. John G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on these tunes here. And I got another flip side from last week. I featured the Clickettes on the Dice label. They did a cover of a Johnny and Joe song. I played Why Oh Why. Johnny and Joe did it, I think, in 58, and they covered it a year later in 59, or maybe it was early 59. But the flip, believe it or not, again on the Dice label by the Clickettes is another cover song that was first recorded by Johnny and Joe on the J&S label in November of 58. But this is the rendition as by the Clickettes. Features Barbara English on lead, 1959, the Clickettes on Dice, with their rendition of the song Warm, Soft, and Lovely.
Warm, soft,
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Clickettes. And Barbara English, she's on lead, 1959, their rendition of the tune Warm, Soft, and Lovely. That one there on Zell Sanders' Dice label, although, no, she didn't own it. She did own it, but she had her daughter, Johnny Louise Richardson. She really had title to the label, but of course she was just a puppet. Yes, she was. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue for this next group out of Newark, New Jersey, and their debut single was their biggest hit, although it first came out on B. Caslin's Mascot label, and then it was picked up by Argo Records. You know the song. It was called The Book of Love, and similar to a previous deal that B did with Leonard Chess, the owner of Chess and Checker Records and Argo Records, she contracted with him to distribute the record nationally for the Pastels, Been So Long, and also for the Monotones, Book of Love. And I guess for those two groups it went down the same way, and they were pretty successful, I think, in some of their records. But the Monotones, for instance, had 4 releases, and this is their 4th and final that came out on Argo, and probably the hardest. Mascot is the one that people like, the Book of Love, but this is probably the hardest of all the Argos to find. And it features Charles Patrick on lead. We go to July of 59, the Monotones on Argo with their record called Fools Will Be Fools.
Fools will be fools, that's why they fall in love. Fools will be fools, they never obey the rules. No one, they are fools, that's why they fall in love. Fools will be fools, that's why they fall in love. Fools always say, I think I'll take a chance on this game of romance. That's why they fall in love. Fools will be fools, that's why they fall in love. Love is gone through heart and soul. Love is gone through young and old. Love is played by fools like me. So why don't you open your eyes and see that fools lose their minds and fool their hearts with shame in this old-fashioned game. This game we know has love will be fools. That's why they fall in love.
July 59 there for the Monotones. Monotones there with Charles Patrick. He's on lead. Fools Will Be Fools is the name of the tune. That one there on Leonard Chess's Argo label. That's probably their hardest one to find. Costs you a little bit more money than their other releases. Johnny G spinning original vinyl 45s. We move into 1960 now. And last week, in memory of 2 members of the Elegants, one most recently left is now Carmen Romano. He was the baritone for the group. He passed away August 2nd, 2016, and just recently, April 20th, 2018, Arthur Venosa, he passed away. And I played their whole release of the song called Little Boy Blue. Let's flip it over and give a listen to the flip side here, written by Arthur Venosa, who we just lost, and it features Vito Picone on lead. We go to January 1960. These are the Elegants on Hull, B. Caslin's Hull label, and their tune called Get Well Soon.
Each
Hoping you'll get well soon and come home to me. Get well soon. I sit in my room each and every night, wondering how you are. Are you feeling alright? For I miss you so, darling. Get well soon. I'm so sorry, baby. You're feeling ill, and no matter what, I'll be waiting still. For I miss you so, darling. Get well soon. I never felt so alone before. I wait impatiently for your knock on my door. Though you've been gone a few days, it seems, what a million years. You're out of my dreams, so I pray to God that you'll hear my plea, and then baby, you'll come on home to me. Alright, I miss you so, darling. Get well soon.
January 1960 there for the Elegants. Vito Pacone on lead. B. Caslin's whole record, their tune called Get Well Soon. That's what's happening to Johnny G. I'm finally getting well, and got to go see the doctor on Tuesday. We'll see. But I had to get my oil changed on Friday. I had a whole bunch of things. I need 4 new tires on the Cadillac. I think they're I don't know what they're getting. It's I think they're $132 a piece for the four tires. It's gonna cost me some bucks on Tuesday when I get that done. But anyway, that's what we have money to spend, right, folks? Anyway, Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue. We are in 1960. Here's another ultra rare 45 out of Fort Pierce, Florida. It's on Irv Vulgamore's Vulco label, and I think from the print, I just noticed this. I mentioned a couple weeks ago I played a record on NRC, and I could easily tell the print. Well, this is that print. I bet NRC, they distributed this record for sure. Both sides of the 45 are excellent. I'm featuring the B-side. It's a cool up-tempo B-side, and they're called the Flaming Hearts. We go to September of 60 on Vulco Records. Their cool tune. It's called I Don't Mind.
Bomberdy, 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 da da. Bomberdy, 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 da. Bomberdy, 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 da.
Well, baby, I don't mind. I don't care. I don't mind. Well, baby, if you go dating, please don't let me keep you waiting. 'Cause, baby, I'll be saying I don't mind, I don't care, I don't mind, I don't you do. I don't mind, baby. I don't care. I don't mind, baby. I don't care. Well, baby, don't believe it. I'm dying. Don't deceive it. 'Cause, baby, I'll be staying. I don't mind. I don't care.
Ultra rare 45s here for a Saturday evening. Don't ask Johnny G what I paid for that record, because it was a lot of money. It really was, because it's a hard record. September 1960, the Flaming Hearts on the Vulco label. I Don't Mind. Johnny G doesn't mind spinning my records for you, the Top Shelf Oldies listeners. Let's continue here. Yet another pretty rare 45 up next out of Philadelphia. And although you can get it fairly cheap, like maybe $6 to $10 on the Gamut label, but this group is out of Philadelphia, PA. You know their signature song, I think first on the Red Top label, a song called My Hero, featured that high falsetto voice of Franklin Peaker. Well, here he is again on this rare Philly release on the Lost label. And mine isn't really in the greatest of shape, but it plays pretty well for what it looks like. I think I won this in like a Jeff Beckman auction a long time ago in Gold Mine magazine. He was auctioning off all his records, and I won this one. It's from 1960. It's the Blue Notes on Lost Records, and the tune is called She Is Mine. Those are the Blue Notes there. See, that's like a VG copy that plays really well. A couple pops in there, but a lot cheaper. I was somebody offered me that record with 4 figures. I think he lowered it a little bit. That was Mr. Surik a long time ago, but I had my copy. I said it plays okay. The Blue Notes there. Franklin Peaker, he's on lead. 1960. She Is Mine is the name of that one, originally on the Lost label. As we continue here, let's flip over another rare 45 from last week. I played a record on the Monogram label by a group known as the Citadels. Their excellent East LA ballad, a song called Let's Fall in Love. Let's flip it over as give a listen to, I think this was the intended A-side though. It's from November of 61. We move into 61. We are in Vinyl Treasure Overtime, about 8 minutes. These are the Citadels on Monogram, and their tune is called When You Said Goodbye.
Eternity. Do you remember those dark and starry nights when we used to sit holding each other tight? You said you love me so. You said you need me, you never let me go. But I found, honey, that they were lies when you said goodbye. Do you remember those dark and starry nights when we used to sit holding each other tight? And you said you loved me, you love me so. You said you need me, you never let me go. But I found, honey, that they were lies when you said goodbye. When you said goodbye. When you said bye, 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 bye. When you said bye, 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 baby, bye, bye, bye. Bye, baby, bye, 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 baby, bye, bye, bye.
November 61 there for the Citadels. That's the intended A-side. Song entitled When You Said Goodbye. Flip, great ballad, East LA sound, Let's Fall in Love. It's on the Monogram record label. That's the same label that Chris Montez had a big hit in 62, if you remember the tune Let's Dance. I think that was the biggest hit on the label. Anyway, John G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Let's continue here. And, earlier I featured the song by the Mellow Moods, Where Are You Now That I Need You? Well, here is another rendition of the tune by this lead singer. This singer of this group was originally from Orangeburg, South Carolina. First started recording as a member of the Rainbows of Mary Lee fame on Red Robin. Also recorded as Pretty Boy on the Atlantic label. And he formed his group called the Good Timers back in 1960 and continued to record into the late 1970s. And he's doing that cover song, this one from 1961, and earlier we heard the version that I played by the Mellow Moods, but back in 1949, originally Betty Hutton did the song, and I don't know who possibly did it first, but we can call it a standard, I guess. But let's go to September of 61 for Mr. Don Covey. It's Don Covey and the Good Timers. This is on Columbia, and his rendition of the tune, Where Are You Now That I Need You?
Babe, are you? Oh, now that I need you. Oh, now that I want you so badly, I could cry. Baby, where are you? Oh, now that I love you. Oh, now that I need you so badly, I could die. I had you at my begging call. I called you any time at all. But I took too much for granted. Now I lie awake and cry. Where are you? Oh, now that I love you. Now that I need you so badly. I could cry. Where are you? Oh, where are people, you? Let me cry. I could cry. Where are you? Yeah, I've got to cry.
Yeah, liking that tune there in the Top Shelf Oldies Chat. That's Mr. Don Covey and the Good Times, September 1961 on the Columbia record banner there. His rendition of Where Are You Now That I Need You. That's a great tune. I like that rendition too, really do. And it was unfortunate that we lost Don Covey on January 31st of 2015 at the age of 78. Passed away of a stroke, but he left us with some great music. Yes, he did, and we remember him here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. As we continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime, and I played a request for listener Stephen Kahn on last week's Vinyl Treasure Show. He wanted to hear a group known as the Colleagues on the Glodus label out of New York City. I played the intended A-side. It was called I Want You, I Need You. Now, Stephen also requested the B-side, so we're gonna play it for Stephen by request. It's from 61. Let's flip over the Colleagues on Glodus. The B-side's called A Tear Fell.
A tear fell when you said goodbye, and you made me cry. A tear fell. A tear fell. I saw you by his side. Don't you know it hurt in my pride? A tear fell. A tear fell. Every night I will cry, hoping for your desire. I'm sorry, my dear, that I hurt you so inside.
sunny day since you've been away. My dear fella, my dear fella, every night I will cry, hoping for your desire. I'm sorry, my dear, that I hurt you so inside. Now I know why those tears fall from my eyes. It's because I hurt you so inside. My dear fella, oh, my dear fella, oh, my dear fella.
By request for Stephen Kahn, 1961, The Colleagues there. That's the B-side of the 45. It's on the Glottis label. The name of the tune is called A Tear Fell. As we move on here on Vinyl Treasures and we stay in 61, let's stay with another flip side. This time, a group out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We go to the Atlanta label. Featured last week Elroy and the Excitements. The tune was called No One Knows, was the intended A-side, but flip side's pretty nice too. We go to April of 61 for Elroy and the Excitements. It features Leroy Grammer on lead, Atlanta Records, and their song is called My Love Will Never Die.
I'll keep my love will never die. Not to say goodbye.
Yeah, that's Pittsburgh's own Elroy and the Excitements. Elroy, really, Leroy Grammer. He's on lead there, April 1961, My Love Will Never Die. That one there on the Atlanta record label. John G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. As we continue here, we move into 1962. This is a rare 45 on the Gaiden label by this white vocal group, and they're out of Philadelphia. And one of the rarest records on the Gaiden label, I have to say. Know nothing about this group, though, but it's a cool up-tempo side. We go to May of 62. They're called the Pacers, Gaiden Records, and it's called No Wonder I Love You.
Everyone is looking at you everywhere you go. Personality and wisdom too. In you it glows. Day in, day out, they say you're wonderful in every way. No wonder I love you. Everyone is calling your name in and around town. Honey, they speak no shame, only goodness all around. Night in, night out, they say you're wonderful in every way. No wonder I love you. When they're walking with you, darling, they all know that I care. When they're talking of you, darling, pretty, neat, and friendly too. Praise the Lord. You have what it takes to do the most precious thing of all. Heart up you go, beauty that isn't told. No wonder I love you. Darling, they all know that I care. When they're pretty, neat, and friendly too. Praise the Lord. You have what it takes to do the most precious thing of all. Heart up you go, beauty that isn't told. No wonder I love you.
That's a rare 45 on the Gaiden label, a rare white group sound there from May 62. They're called the Pacers, Gaiden Records out of Philadelphia. No Wonder I Love You is the name of the tune as we continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. We are in 62 for this next artist. It was a member of the Rainbows, the group that recorded Mary Lee on Red Robin, Shirley on the Pilgrim label, and They Say on Rama, but he wasn't the main leader of those songs. Ronnie Miles was, but he was doing lead on many of the flip sides like Evening and Stay and Minnie, and his name was John Barry, but he then changed his name when he decided to go solo, and he recorded as Sonny Spencer, and here he is with a release from 1962. It's on the Music Hall label. Actually looks like the Music Note label, but let's give a listen to Sonny Spencer on Music Hall from 62. It's called Hold My Hand.
Darling, please, 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 please. Come live with me, please, 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 darling. Oh, my. my hand.
That's Sonny Spencer, a.k.a. Sonny Spencer, a.k.a. John Berry. 1962, with a group backing him up. Sonny Spencer with Hold My Hand came out on the Music Hall label. We'll go for a few more here. Now, in last week's Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a 45 out of Los Angeles on the Caljo label. Was thinking that possibly it was a label owned by Johnny Otis, because he is all over this record with the publishing and the writer, etc. But the group was called Denise Mills and the Satinettes, and I played the side called You Oughta Try. Well, here is the flip side, written by Johnny Otis. We go to July of 62, Caljo Records, Denise Mills and the Satinettes. The name of the tune is called Meet Me in the Moonlight.
When the dance is over and the lights are low, I wanna hold you, baby, 'cause I love you so. This is the night for love, and I'll hold you so tight. Ooh, baby, meet me in the moonlight. You know I promised you that I'd make up my mind. Well, I've been watching you, baby, and I want you to be mine. This is the night for love, and I'll hold you so tight. Ooh, baby, meet me in the moonlight. This is the night for love, and I made up my mind. I'm gonna love you and really make you mine. When the dawn starts breaking and the stars fade away, you know I'm yours alone, forever and a day. This is the night for love, and I'll hold you so tight. Ooh, baby, meet me in the moonlight. Meet me in the moonlight. Meet me in the moonlight. Oh, yeah, yes, meet me in the moonlight.
That's on the Caljo label, July 62. Denise Mills and the Satinettes, Meet Me in the Moonlight. As we move on here for a little bit more here, another side I featured on last week's show was by this Pittsburgh, PA group. You know them, the Marcells. I played the B-side of their 45. It was a ballad. It was called Give Me Back Your Love. Now, the flip side charted regionally and features Cornelius Harp on lead. We go to May of 63. We move into 63 for the Marcells on Colpix, and their tune, it's called I Wanna Be the Leader.
Everyone's talking about Mr. Bassman. Everyone's talking about me. That's me they're talking about. Everyone's singing about Mr. Bassman. Everyone's singing about me. That's me they're singing about. Watch me. Now you. Oh no, 'cause I wanna be the leader of the group. You'll never find me singing. I wanna sing the words that's written in those crazy words. She think I lost my mind. I wanna be the leader of the group. You'll never find me singing I wanna sing the words that's written in my heart, so you can understand and you can be a part. Oh no, like our day will come. Don't go away, little girl, but if it don't, one broken heart for sale, you're the reason I'm living. You really gotta hold on me every time I sing. I change from a jack to a king. I wanna be the leader of the group. You'll never find me singing I wanna sing the words that's written in my heart, so you can understand and you can be a part. Oh no, I wanna be the leader.
What's the matter with what I do?
Cause I wanna be the leader.
What's the matter with the
I wanna be the leader.
That great group out of Pittsburgh, PA. Those are the Marcells. Marcells on the Colpix record label, and their cool tune from May of '63, I Wanna Be the Leader. Send that one out to Alex, currently in the Top Shelf Oldies chart. Alex Galbraith, one of our Thursday night DJs. Alex, is that correct? And no, he's not on every Thursday. He's on a rotating basis there. But anyway, that's a cool tune. Johnny G, almost time to wind down here. We're almost through with the records I pulled out to play tonight, so let's continue. Here's a ultra rare 45, either late 62, early 63, as we go back to Hollywood, California. The group formed at Gompers Junior High School and continued when they went to Fremont High School. It consisted of tenor James Pee Wee Williams, tenor Norman Richmond, baritone Frank Harrison, and the bass Keenan Salico. And they were introduced to a disc jockey that was a part-time DJ spinning records at John Dolphin's record shop. Used to spin right there in the window of that record store. And what resulted was a release on the Ball label. This associated with John Dolphin, one of his like one-off labels, but it's really a rare West Coast 45 on the Ball label. It's from '63 according to Ferdy. The group is called the Perennials. What a name, the Perennials. And the tune is called I'm Yours Until the End. Rare West Coast sound there on the Ball label. They're called the Perennials. 1963 release, a song entitled I'm Yours Till the End. I mentioned that Alex will be on this coming Thursday night with the Platter Party, so tune in to Alex Galbraith here on Top Shelf Oldies starting 8 p.m., right? Alex, is that it? Yes, it is. Well, that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with me, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. You can tune into the show for encore presentation. You can go to my website, vinyltreasures.net. You can download tons of shows there or stream them live, whatever you like. You could also go to my YouTube account, Johnny G's Vinyl Treasure Show. Been recording this on the Ustream broadcaster, and then I post it up on the wall at YouTube, and then they run it through their testing and give me the copyright police reprimand me if I play something I shouldn't. But anyway, you can do that for you collectors out there. It's really cool if you're a collector of this music, and you need to see the labels and what they look like, whatever. So I know a lot of collectors have contacted me and said that's a lot of fun. But anyway, that's going to do it for tonight. We got a closer tonight. This gal out of Pittsburgh, PA. She was a member of a great group out of Pittsburgh. We just lost the lead singer, Jimmy Beaumont, not too long ago. Of course, you know I'm talking about the Skyliners. Her name was Janet Vogel. She was the soprano vocalist of the Skyliners. Of course, you know, you hear her in all those songs, Since I Don't Have You, This I Swear, It Happened Today, etc. But she also did lead on a couple of the releases, and then she had a solo record in December of '63, great two-sided record, and we're going to give it a spin. It's the closer tonight. It's on the Gateway label. So the closer tonight is by Janet Dean and a group. The song is called I'm Glad I Waited. Aren't you glad you waited till the end of the show to hear this closing record? Because it is a great tune for her, but unfortunately, you know, she died from carbon monoxide poisoning. She was only 37 years old, but she was a great singer, and she left us with a lot of great music and memories. And that's going to do it, folks. And please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Rave and his Relics and Rarity show. Dave starts at 9 p.m. here, 9 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies, cool 60s records, all types of sounds out of the 60s, out of his collection, and all the shows here on Top Shelf Oldies beginning at 8 p.m. During the weeknight. But anyway, that's going to do it, and tomorrow is Mother's Day. Let's wish all the mothers out there. Actually, we're already 42 minutes into Mother's Day. Want to wish a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, especially my mother, and thank her for all that she's done. And she doesn't want anything. She won't take anything. It's really difficult to find things for your mother when she says she doesn't want anything. But I'm going to give her something. I did buy something. Hope she likes it. But anyway, that's going to do it, folks. And thank you, Charlene, for all your help. And I'll be back here at next weekend at 10 p.m., 10 to midnight, for more 50s and early 60s 45s out of my collection. So everybody have a safe and happy week. I'll see you here next Saturday evening. Just want to say, everybody, so long.
My mama told me so long ago, make sure it's a true love before you let yourself go. Now I know what she meant, 'cause you're
when you hold